Hey guys, another sci-fi guy here, and we're continuing our review of the television series Babylon 5. Today we're looking at Season 1, Episode 8, and the Sky Full of Stars. This is another one of those quintessential episodes that you really need to see. This one focuses mainly on Sinclair, the commander of the station, and clears up kind of what happens in that bit of time he's missing. I really like this episode. I really like the two main guest stars, the ones that abduct Sinclair. One of them, the main one, the one that goes into the simulation with him, I don't know his name, but I've seen him in other things. I can't actually tell you what, but I recognize his face and I like him. He strikes me as a really good bad guy. And I enjoy him whenever he pops up. The other one I recognize because he played in Wrath of Khan. He plays Khan's kind of second in command. I don't know his name either. But I recognize him from that. And I've seen him in kind of some of the other 80s shows too, like A-Team or Knight Rider. He shows up in some stuff like that as the bad guy usually. So it's cool to see them because I recognize them. There's some nice little touches to connect with previous things. Like you'll see, I think it's Garibaldi or somebody reading a newspaper and it talks about the Home Guard being in trouble. And there's another article there too, I forget what it is, that has tied in with previous episodes. It's also Psychor, talks about the Psychor. Allegations of Psychor having something to do with the elections. So there's more foreshadowing there, even though it's itty-bitty little things. Babylon 5 really is one of those shows where after you watch it, if you go back and watch it a second time, you catch all the little details and hints and foreshadowing in it. It's one of the things I like about it. So in this one, basically, I'm going to go ahead and jump right into spoiler territory. It's really the only way I can jump into it. Sinclair gets abducted with the help of, without his knowledge, a security guard who's being paid off because he's in debt. And he's put in basically a computer simulation, so he looks like he's on the station, but he's not. Because everybody wants to know what happened in the Battle of the Line. We've talked about Sinclair and the Battle of the Line before. The Battle of the Line was the final battle of the Minbari War, and it was around 10 years ago. I can't remember if the Minbari War started or ended 10 years ago. I think it was 10 years ago since it ended. And Sinclair was fighting in what was called the Battle of the Line, which was the Minbari were at Earth. They were about to attack Earth flat out. And the Battle of the Line was basically a goal line stand to either try to stop them or slow them down long enough for the Earth ships to get away. And it was pretty much a suicide mission. And Sinclair's entire team was wiped out. Sinclair was about to be wiped out. And suddenly he blacked out. When he woke up, it was 24 hours later. And the Minbari had surrendered. And so that was always the big mystery. Why did the Minbari, on the eve of victory, suddenly surrender? Everybody's always wondered that. And these two guys are trying to figure out what happened to Sinclair. What did he turn traitor? They accuse him of that. They think he turned traitor. And even Sinclair doesn't know. So we actually find out the more backstory of the Battle of the Line in this episode. Because it had been talked about before, but we get a lot more detail on it. We see flashbacks of it. We see people he fought with that got killed there. And then we actually do get to find out what happened. And, for instance, we already knew something was up with his memory because in the pilot, the Minbari assassin from the pilot already told him there's a hole in your mind. And so we knew something was going on with that. And again, I'm getting into spoilers here. Basically, we find out that the Minbari had knocked him out, tractored his ship in, studied him, tortured him, interrogated him, and then they had him in front of the Grey Council. And that he also saw Delenn there because he wanted to know what was going on. And that when he reached over and pulled the hood off one and looked in their face, it was Delenn. So we already knew Delenn was Grey Council, but we get to see it. So there's definitely more to Delenn than we... Well, I'll take it back because we already knew it. It's interesting to finally know what happened, to know that Sinclair was taken aboard, interrogated. We noticed whenever... We still don't know why they surrendered, but they hold that little triangle disc up to him, and it glows. And that plays a key point later that we'll find out. That's actually a key reason why they surrendered. The fact when they held the... I forget the name of it. When they held it up to him, it started glowing. which actually does have significance. We'll find out later in the series, and it does explain why they surrendered. but they took Sinclair, wiped his memory, and put him back, and then surrendered. And Sinclair has this memory back, but he doesn't tell Delenn that. He does manage to get away because he manages to overpower one of the guards and get away. He's a bit delusional and almost shoots Garibaldi and Delenn, but they manage to snap him out of it. It's a really good episode because now we have his backstory. It tells us more about the Minbari, even though we still don't 100% know why they surrendered. That'll be explained later. But it is a really good episode that I highly recommend people watch. It's one of those must-see episodes of the series, in my opinion, because it gives a lot of that backstory. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to keep it short. I couldn't really talk much about it. I enjoyed it. The effects were good. I think the acting was good. The directing was good. It's a good episode. Anyway, click the like button. Click the subscribe button. Let me know what you think. Am I rambling a little too much? I felt like I was rambling a little too much. I'm getting senile. Check out my other channel, Prowl1701, PROWL1701, where I review high-end lightsaber hilts, where I manage not to ramble quite so much. And most importantly, thank you for watching.